Yeah, I think we can start. He's talking
Oh,
about importance of flesh body. I think some portion of it can be used in my lecture tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see.
yeah. Importance of the flesh body. Reclamation of light. Death of the body. Wanderings of the units. Returns of unit to a body. The exteriorizations of the thoughts of all the doers make the common ground on which they meet in their physical bodies. So the exteriorization of all the thoughts of all the doers make the common ground on which they meet in their physical bodies.
So the physical earth, what he's saying is the physical earth is created by virtue of all the collective thoughts.
Correct.
He has
Yeah.
not yet geofenced the common thoughts and common people. That will be the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's saying he created all this physical world because of our thoughts.
correct, correct.
His is the objective world on the physical plane.
Mm.
Desires and feelings are always subjective and belong exclusively to individuals.
Mm.
Mob, mob spirit, patriotism, worship by a multitude are similar feelings but not the same feelings. Everyone has his own feelings. The exteriorization in a riot, a war, or a church is the common ground on which the inner factors objectivize.
Mm.
Likewise, rightness and reason are individual and subjective. I-ness and selfness too are subjective.
That means these are changing based on
Basically,
the
the
object.
he's
Because
saying
hmm,
feelings are the objective, common ground on which the inner factors objectivize. So we create, because of our feelings, we create the objects.
correct.
But like rightness and reason are individual and subjective. I-ness and selfness too are subjective.
Mm.
One demonstration of this manifold nature of the triune self is made on the objective physical plane by the exteriorization of the thoughts which the doer produces as the mixture of its desire with the light of the intelligence.
Perfect.
So you want to explain this? The human demonstration of this, the thought is no here. The human demonstration of this manifold nature of the triune self is made on the objective.
So when he's saying demonstration, basically your thoughts are getting projected on a plane.
Uh, oh, okay.
Okay.
A
What
physical
we are projecting is the physical plane.
plane. Okay.
Now, just as he
So,
tells us in the earlier chapters, right? The noetic plane pushes its projection onto the mental plane, which is then projected onto the
psychic. I
psychic
mean,
plane and then the
yeah.
physical plane. So he's talking
Yeah.
about the same thing.
Okay. When the thoughts are in evidence as objects on the physical plane, they can be seen or felt by other doers.
Hmm.
Not until a thought is concreted as an act, an object, or an event is the reality of it apprehended. Not until a thought is concreted as an act
So till
that
it is
becomes.
projected onto the physical world, it is not
Mm,
concretized.
yeah,
Yeah, that means it is sitting there as a pattern,
yeah, in the
as a
mental plane.
vibration that needs
Correct.
to, yeah,
The physical demonstration of a thought is the center upon which, for the time, the doer which issued it is focused.
correct.
So, so the physical demonstration of a thought is the center upon which, for the time, the doer which issued it is focused. The
Hmm.
time and it has to happen, that it depends upon that focus. Other doers, if they are involved, are also held by the act, object, or event, which is the demonstration. So if the other doers involved and they are also doing the same thing.
Correct. So now you can just close your eyes and imagine, let us say, a cricket field.
Cricket.
There are multiple cameras
Yeah.
which are capturing what is happening. Okay. And what those cameras are projecting is being captured and reflected onto the TV that we are observing.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the people who are sitting and watching it live there are going to be seeing something which is very different
Correct.
compared to us who are watching it on the TV. So we need to keep that in mind. So when the thoughts are in evidence as objects on the physical plane, they can be seen or felt by other doers. It may not be reality, but it may still be what we feel, what we experience, what we perceive. Just keep that in mind. Yeah.
The physical demonstration of a thought is the center upon which, for the time, the doer which issued it is focused. He's saying again, other doers, if they are involved, are also held by the act, object, or event, which is that demonstration. Only in this objective world can all doers come together. Here, they encounter on a common plane as objects the thoughts of other doers. So, I mean, other doers also, they play an important role.
Here they encounter who the doers. This is where they come together. They encounter on a common plane as objects the thoughts of other doers. Not only our thoughts, also other thoughts we will experience here.
Do we experience, or they have a
we are all suppose we are all the doers, right? We experience both paradigms.
Okay, and I thought other doers are influencing the manifestation of whatever we are also thinking, if they are thinking the same thing.
Correct. But whatever is experienced here, I mean, are those, see, only in this objective world can all doers come together.
Correct.
Okay, now, when they come together, here they encounter on a common plane as objects the thoughts of other doers. They encounter that, not only their thoughts, but also other doers' thoughts.
So exchange, probably exchange happens.
It could be exchange, it could be superimposition, it could be interaction, it could be a Venn diagram, basically.
Correct, because when we see the TV, that has some influence on us.
Correct.
So that means whatever others are saying, other doers are saying, that is influencing our thought process.
That he is covering in the second point.
Here they find the objects which stir their emotions. Correct.
Correct.
The way one other way that I can think about, sir, in a dream, there are several characters which the dreamer actually portrays, and dreamer actually thinks the same way like other characters are thinking in a dream.
True, but we need to be cautious of the fact that in dream, it may be physical, it may not be physical.
Yes, physical or not, yes.
But here it is physical.
Thoughts are transformed, yeah.
Correct, correct.
Here he's talking about the physical manifestation.
Correct.
Right.
So here men, women, marriage, work, business, amusements, worship, poverty, disease, luxury, vice, blacks, and war furnish them experiences.
Correct.
So because of all these common thoughts, I mean, those are the, we experience
So when
all
we
these.
come together, see, only in this objective world can all doers come together. When we come together, right, what we see, what emotions we are subjected to, and how we experience them are going to be in terms of all these paradigms.
Different experiences, what
Correct.
he's explaining. Here, birth, death, youth, and age affect them.
Correct.
Oh, because of all these experiences and other emotions.
Correct.
Here, the doers have a possessions. Doers
Correct.
have possessions. There are the source of a deceit and strife, as well as the means of self-control and virtue. The doers can distinguish the objects from themselves and learn the difference between me and mine through a human physical body only. Correct. That mineness and me and comes only on this physical earth. The flesh body is unstable, of short-lived and weak when compared with the nature and the doer, both of whom it serves. Its time of service is short. Soon upon its youth and vigor follows death. It is too feeble to stand the strain which nature and the doer put upon it. The doer should use it in the reclamation of light of intelligence from nature. When it is no longer capable of reclaiming light automatically, its days are usually numbered. When the light available to a human has been used up, the body grows weaker and dies. That is prana shakti, literally.
Exactly.
The light is as a tincture
No.
that gives.
What he is explaining here is, right, this body is unstable. It has got a time limit. It has got a deteriorating characteristic.
Correct.
Okay, in the earlier one, he was talking about possessions and all those emotions and all that. How we experience. This body is going to experience all that.
Correct.
So the doer should use this body. The doer is not the body. The body is the vehicle through which he undergoes all these.
Correct.
Sorry. Yeah.
So the doer use it in the reclamation of the light of intelligence from nature.
Correct.
When it is no longer capable of reclaiming light automatically, its days are usually numbered. So does it mean that what is in his terms reclaiming light automatically here? What does he mean here?
See, through the body, when it is reclaiming the light, that means when it is falling on the body and the body is understanding that light, you are making that progression, right? It is becoming visible to you. You are able to observe. You are able to experience whatever is the thought.
The light of intelligence from the upper.
Correct, correct. So through you, it is going into nature. That means it has got consumed.
So if you are not aware of, it goes into the nature. That is wasting. Okay.
The body is no longer able to realize that. That means it is not able to experience that light. That means it is no more. It is losing its consciousness, right?
Correct. No more aware. In the body is not aware of what's going on.
Correct.
The light is as a tincture that gives vitality. The chief cause of the shortness of life and of the feebleness of the body is the absence of enough light of intelligence. In this short time, the body has hardly begun its life before it is withered by age or destroyed by disease.
In this short time, the body has hardly begun its life before it is withered by age or destroyed by disease. Okay.
What does he mean? It's all short time. The body has hardly begun its life before it is withered by age or destroyed by. In case if you are not aware of the light, so you because of all this you get destroyed in a much easier, much quickly.
Correct. No, but basically you are not able to use that light.
Yeah.
The chief cause of the shortness, because it has got short time,
Yeah.
and of the feebleness of this body is the absence of enough light
Correct.
of intelligence. Light of intelligence, one way to look at it from this perspective, it is the prana.
Pranic body. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Hmm.
Because there is less and less of pranic energy in that pranic body, that death nears. The failure of the body to serve continuously until the purpose of its existence are attained necessitates a calling together of the dissolved parts after they have returned to their elements.
Correct.
The failure of the body to serve continuously until the purpose of its existence are attained necessitates a calling together of the dissolved parts after they have returned to their. What does he mean, dissolved
It's not
parts?
a door. Let's complete. Then we'll get the picture.
After the death of the body, the elemental matter that composes its parts is reassembled and renewed to continue its service into a new one. Got it?
So he's talking about regeneration is one way in which the particles break down in that short time, or it is in the next life.
So in case if the doer does not fulfill all its services in one life, it will dissolve and take in another life. It will take
another life. That is the reincarnation or whatever we call.
Further.
Right.
The fourfold stream of radiant, airy, fluid, and solid matter, which is the fourfold breath that supports all physical beings and things, thereafter, it takes some of the compository units into the bodies of the plants and animals. There they compose for these vegetables and animal bodies as they did for the human bodies. So comes similarity to human form and structure, which runs through animate nature. In nature, these units compose in animals and plants until they are called back to build a new body for a new breath form of the returning doer.
Correct.
So
that means it is circulated basically.
Yeah. So once this physical body of the doer physical body dissolves, he says it goes into animals and plants.
And then comes back.
Comes back when in the next life.
Correct.
So all the units, so they come together and then form this body in the next life. If when the compository units are released, they are not carried into the bodies of plants and animals, they remain free in their elemental elements in the sphere of earth. The compository units, if they are not released and not carried by the plants and animals, they will be as free elements in the sphere of earth.
Correct.
The units had acted as system units or senses may appear in human form. The units which had acted as system units or senses may appear in human form. If they do, they are the elementals called by some alchemists salamanders, sylphs, undine, and gnomes. Nature spirits seen from time to time, such as water nymphs, wood sprites, elves, and fauns are elementals which have functioned as compository units in human bodies. They have a human or nearly human form because of their long association with the breath form of a doer. these nature spirits are the nature
Right.
sprites.
Sprite.
The nature sprites are as variously high and low in degree as were the human beings in whom they function. So they attack the human.
So these are various forms that are there in the universe around us,
Mm,
but on the
yeah,
physical plane, because he's talking about elementals and elements.
correct.
Yeah.
So the free elemental human form. The
Mm.
other matter of which the body is made up at any one time is transient matter. Transient units. Transient matter, transient units of the four states of matter on the physical plane. The transient units are caught and held by the compositors when they pass through the body, carried in the stream of fourfold breath of the earth, which flows through all physical things. So, transient means they keep changing.
They keep changing. They keep moving, basically.
The other matter of which the body is made up at any one time is, that we finished. The fourfold stream of units contains free units which never have been held in a human body, transient units which have been caught, held, and some enmeshed in a human body, and composited units. What is this? The fourfold stream of units contain: one is free units which never have been held in a human body, transient units which have been caught, held, and enmeshed in a human body, and composited units. The breath comes from the four layers of matter
What is he
that
saying in this para? He is saying that these units that he has talked about, they stream together in various conditions of the body. Those
one
that
is
have never been in any body.
Yeah.
That means they are the free entities. Transient
Yeah.
units which have been caught. That means they have taken some form, been within the human body or the other occupants of the planets in their various stages of evolution. That is what he has said, right? They have been caught, held, and so enmeshed either in the human body or they are in the compositor units. Compositor units are the units which are in the genomes and all that. The genomes, the undines, the sylphs, or the salamanders. Okay,
Nature
now
sprite.
you can make any particular meaning of salamander. What is it? Oh, there are various forms of life.
Yeah, salamanders ante lizards type. A little bigger
Glands
than
in the
lizards.
skin discharge mucus, which keeps the skin moist. Okay, there are so many other. Okay, they are basically other what do you call organism on the earth. That is the easiest way that we need to understand. Yeah,
It's like frogs and amphibians, but they are like lizards, big lizards.
correct.
This breath comes from the four layers of matter that makes up the physical plane. The breath passes through the solar and lunar centers and returning to the earth crust carries its units into all things. The breath comes not only in solid and liquid food, water, air, and sunlight that are taken into the body, but it flows at all times through the body imperceptibly to the senses. So without knowing.
This explains, this part of the sentence explains what Uma Shankar was saying. See, Uma Shankar in one of the lectures, that Sun Yogi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Right. He says, I used to wonder, I am not eating anything, I am not drinking anything. I didn't have any bowel movement, I can understand. But why am I getting urine?
Oh, because Not only through food, through other senses, sense parts you are
Correct.
getting. Yeah.
So whatever food he was getting absorbed, so nothing to excrete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But urine he was getting, why? Because water particles from the sun and moon rays and all that.
And then from the moisture in the air.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Now this
So
also explains, I was listening to some video which said 36 hours you fast. Okay. All the
Yeah.
fat deposits in the body, they get consumed.
They get consumed and then converted into fecal
Into
matter.
energy for you to survive.
Oh, that is how, yeah, you lose all the cholesterol and
Yeah,
unnecessary.
exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breath and speech through human bodies keep the entire mass of physical matter moving. Oh, speech occurs. Speech also. Breath and speech through human bodies keep the entire mass of physical matter moving. They agitate innumerable hosts of minute particles and keep them in circulation in the physical world, where some of these particles enter and leave human bodies. So basically, that is how we spend our energy, like so the
Circulation.
speech.
Basically. He's talking about the circulation of all these.
Correct. They agitate innumerable hosts of minute particles in the body and keep them in circulation in the physical world, where some of these particles enter and leave human bodies. The bodies through which a particular stream of units will pass are opened by previous thoughts and the consequent relation which have just been mentioned, through which the intermingling of the matter is facilitated. A human body is made up of two categories of units. One re-exists as the units of the senses and of the organs with the respective link units. One re-exists as the units of the senses and of the organs with the respective link units. These units have acted as the compositors in previous lives and re-exist in each succeeding life. Oh, so these
So these are patterns of ready-made patches also.
Correct.
Functional
Samskaras.
blocks of your incomplete activities. It could be any of those.
That's what they got, samskaras.
Yeah.
The other category make up the transient matter, which is held in a body but does not necessarily re-exist in it.
Correct.
So these are transient matter, so they do not re-exist. They just keep change. They change and they live in this life. It re-exists. It has been sufficiently impressed by the signature of thoughts so as to bear the stamp which guides it back to the body where it had received the stamp of the signature. So if there is a signature stamp, then it will re-exist. Otherwise, it won't.
Either it is prefabricated or it will be then fabricated.
Right. Yeah. From the standpoint of nature, re-existence of a particular doer are needed because the sense and compositor units have been sealed with the seal of the particular doer through the medium of its breath form. Oh, so it says from the re-existence of a particular, from the standpoint of nature's re-existence of a particular doer are needed because the sense and the compositor units have been sealed with the seal of the particular doer through the medium of its breath form.
That is the pattern that is assigned to that.
So it goes and stays in the Akashic records,
No, not only in the Akashic record. The pattern may be in the Akashic record. The physical existence may be compositors also.
On the earth.
Yeah.
These units bearing the seal have been marked, coordinated, articulated through the breath form time and again while they served in a flesh body used by the particular doer. So they are so specific, they will come back. They require that the doer shall return. The doer which binds them to it also binds itself to them. So if they have a lot of binding nature to the objects on this world, suppose the nature units, they need to come back. The doer
Yeah,
needs
they
to
have
come
to
back.
come back. Yes.
They are a special part of nature matter, which is in the charge, which is in the charge of a particular doer, and this matter has to be raised so as to become conscious in certain degrees before the doer can be released from that charge. I didn't get it. They are special part of nature matter, which is in the charge of a particular doer, and this matter has to be raised so as to become conscious in certain degrees before the doer can be released from that charge. So what is it? So that means before the death, it happens all this, or
No, it
before
could
the
be death
release.
and rebirth also, both.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
they are
agree.
already prefabricated. Some of these are prefabricated with the pattern that was existing, which has to repeat.
Mm.
That is
So
why I am able to understand this.
So before the release of the doer, there is a kind of a stamp on the nature,
Correct.
okay, into different units.
Correct.
And until the matter requires the field of a human body belonging to the doer for the travels, changes, separation, reunion, and adventures of that matter.
So that means, let us say some karma I have not completed, requires a particular form. It may be pre-existing as what do you call this? What method did he call it? It is more like the pre-designed and readily available. What was that word that he used?
Particular doer.
No, not the doer. The impression and signature put together.
Oh, yeah. Impression
They are
signature. Correct.
prefabricated.
Okay.
Mm.
So when the human body, it takes with that signature.
So what is this saying? They are special part of nature matter. Okay. Which is in the charge of a particular doer. Okay. And this matter has to be raised so as to become conscious in certain degrees before the doer can be released from that charge. Okay, there is some particular parameter and pattern in which this is available, and before it can be released, and this will be belonging to a particular identified doer. Okay, then what is he saying? And until then, the matter requires the field of a human body belonging to that doer for the travels, changes, separation, reunion, and adventures of that matter, of that composition of the matter. It requires that particular identity of that doer to establish that contact. Read it again. Let us read the last two paragraphs. From the standpoint of the nature, the existence of a particular doer are needed because the sense and compositor units have been sealed with the seal of that particular doer. So that means there is an identity pertaining to the doer.
Correct.
Okay.
Because when the body leaves, he left some signature,
and this pattern belongs to that, and that stamping is done by means of the medium of its breath form. Okay. These units bearing the seal have been marked, coordinated, articulated through the breath form time and again,
Mm.
while they served in a flesh body used by the particular doer. That means they are also part of that body. If I have not completed it and I need to pick up that and continue from there, this has to be ready-made.
Ah, correct.
Okay.
With that fact,
That ready-made compositor unit has got my identity. It will not go and patch itself to somebody else. It will patch it to me only.
so basically the karmic
So is it
pattern.
like the prarabdha karma coming into a particular doer through a flesh body?
That is the way I am also understanding.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is.
Karmic
So
pattern.
that consciousness,
And
that
now,
consciousness.
the interesting fact, so these, if you are to release, is not past life regression addressing this particular component for you to identify what you had experienced earlier. Does it not play a role?
Exactly. It's a part of the past life regression you get to know in order to progress.
Correct.
If you are not
Yeah.
getting it through your birth form, so
Hmm.
that's the PRL.
Perfect. Right?
Correct,
All of
correct.
you in tune with this statement? Ramakrishna
That
Garu
is,
1 and Ramakrishna Garu 2. 2 is
see here,
Ramakrishna Garu, 1 is
Yeah,
P.
sir. I'm actually I am not.
No. See, what is he saying? Let's look at it this way. Okay.
Yeah.
Breath and speech through human bodies keeps the entire mass of the physical matter moving.
Yes.
They agitate innumerable hosts of minute particles and keep them in circulation in the physical world, where some of these particles enter and leave human bodies.
Yes.
The bodies through which a particular stream of units will pass are opened by previous thoughts and consequent relations which have been mentioned, through which the intermingling of the matter is facilitated. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
A human body is made up of two categories of units. This human body is made up of two kinds of units. Okay. One re-exists as the units of the senses and the organs with which respective link with the respective
current
link
time.
units.
Yeah.
Okay. These units have acted as the compositor in previous lives and re-exist in each succeeding life.
Yes.
Eyesight, eyes, the nose, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just giving the sense organs basically. The other category makes up the transient matter with which is held in a body but does not necessarily re-exist in it. It may not come. It may be a prefabricated unit. It may
Yeah.
come as the whole entity as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. It re-exists. It re-exists if it has been sufficiently impressed upon the signature of the thoughts so as to bear the stamp which guides it back to the body when it had received the stamp of the signature. So he is defining the condition when it will re-exist.
Yeah.
Okay. From the standpoint of nature re-existence of a particular doer are needed because the sense and the compositor units have been sealed with the seal of that particular doer. Let us say that in my thought process, I have imagined I am going to be born with one hand in the coming life. Instead of that getting recreated and a scenario which is knocking off that I am to be born with that, then what happens? It re-exists if it has been sufficiently impressed by the signature of thoughts so as to bear the stamp which guides it back to the body where it had received the stamp of the signature. The signature is partial limb or whatever it is. From the standpoint of nature, re-existence of a particular doer are needed because the sense and the compositor units have been sealed with the seal of a particular doer through the medium of the breath form. Okay, if that is the case, these units bearing the seal have been marked, coordinated, articulated, and the breath form time and again, while they served in a flesh body used by a particular doer. So when that re-existence is to happen, it will come as that finished compositor unit.
Yes.
With that condition mapped, that condition recreated, prefabricated, and that is what they require, that the doer shall return. The doer which binds them to it also binds itself to them. That means they both are together. When that doer comes back, this will also come back because of that bondage. They are special part of nature matter which is in the charge of the particular doer, and this matter has been raised so as to become conscious in certain degrees before the doer can be released from that charge.
So, what I understand from here is like it is a combination of many doers and their desires coming together.
It could be many doers or the same doer. Here it is the same doer, not many doers.
Yeah, same doer. Okay. Yes.
And until then, the matter requires the field of a human body belonging to that doer for the travel, changes, separation, reunion, and adventures of that matter. So, that is, even at the matter level, there is a precognition that is going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the doer.
Okay. The doer in the body. Error in the conception of I, the personality and re-existence. The doer portion after death. The portions not in the body. How a doer portion is drawn out for re-existence.
Now here probably we will understand that deeper.
Yeah. Only one of the 12 portions of the doer is embodied at any one time. Each portion represents a different aspect of the doer and re-exists to accomplish a definite purpose. Each of these portions is a separate portion, and yet it is related to all the other doers because the doer is one doer. That portion of the doer which re-exists is not conscious of its connection with the other portions. At the end of the heaven period, that portion enters again into a relation with the other portions, returns to its place among them, and remains there until the other portions have re-existed, each in its turn. Then it re-exists again. Each portion is responsible for itself, makes its own destiny, takes up its own life, and reaps what it has sown. Okay. So each here he is explaining that actually. So only one of the 12 portions of the doer is embodied at any one time. That we are very clear. Each portion represents a different aspect of the doer
and re-exist to accomplish a definite purpose. Each of these portions is a separate portion and yet is related to all. It is basically semi-formed, ready-made parts.
Correct.
Okay. That portion of the doer which re-exists is not conscious of its connection with the other portions. At the end of the heaven period, that portion enters again into relation with the other portions, returns to its place among them, and remains there until the other portions have re-exited, each in its turn. Then it re-exists again. That means a portion which has come down, completes its journey, goes and waits for all of the remaining 11 to complete the same state before it will re-exit.
So basically, once one doer accomplishes its purpose, it stays there. The other one
One
takes its
portion
turn.
of the 12, not one doer.
Yeah. One portion of the 12. Yeah.
Correct.
One of the 12. Yeah. So once it is completed, it ascends much higher purpose. Yeah.
Correct.
So, sir,
Mm.
I have a question. So now, so far, like we have been studying that it is 1/12 of the doer who comes
Down
to
to
the
the earth. He is repeating the same thing.
right. So now my question is about the remaining 11 1/12 portions. Can they be of any other person?
No,
They can be at other universes also.
no, they
Doing their
can be.
own portion.
No, they can be there, but they are part of the triune self. Wherever the triune self is together.
Okay. Say, for example, like here right now in my life, I have come to experience the poverty or the richness, the 1/12 of the portion. So what is
It is not poverty or richness. We don't have much details about those.
No,
Part of 35?
Yes, sir. One of the lessons I am here now, right? So are the remaining 35, are the remaining 11s, are they trying to collect some other parts of these 35 lessons?
Could be, could not be, maybe.
It could be possible because we don't have enough information to comment on.
Okay. Yeah.
Because in Seth book or somewhere, he said the same, person takes 2 to 3 different soul parts in other parts of the world.
No, it is possible. We don't know where we are. Is the triune self only in one universe?
Yeah,
or is
because
it in multiple universes? We don't have that clarity here.
Laws
But
of the
if you
universe.
take our that Megatron,
Yeah.
and the ascension and all that, he says we are existing in 383 planets simultaneously.
Yeah, 383, he says.
That is what I am saying, sir. It
Correct,
is existing in multiverse, and then everything come together
We could
and
be
serve
there,
the
but
same 12 parts.
as triune self, we are in contact with this body one way or the other.
So that is how we go into, that is why from the earth plane, we try to connect to the light and intelligence and those doers in different multiverse. Because our doers only is going to give us the information, either or vice versa.
Right.
But according to Ramakrishna Gari, according to your question, it is possible.
Yeah.
They just don't sit idle.
Correct. They will not. They may be somewhere else. Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question, sir. So how do you treat this situation when there is a twin baby or 3 babies born with the same, let's say, body mass or figure? So do you mean there are 3 doers from the same doer in the same planet?
It will be 3 doers.
It will be 3 doers, but in it could be the same, what do you say, the same.
No, it could be three souls coming together.
Okay.
See, where you take
One
It could be same, but souls are different.
If you take twins, it is not one soul.
Correct.
Two souls of the same group?
They are two independent souls.
Two different doers also?
They are two different doers.
Okay.
Two different doers.
Now, why confusion? As per the soul contracts, each soul contracts the parent separately, right?
Correct. They
Why
may
there is
come
any
together.
confusion?
No. They may come together at the same time.
Yeah, they may come together at the same time through the same womb. That's a different thing. But the contracts are different, souls are different.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be exactly identical in their contracts also.
Correct. That is possible.
Yeah, so there is no confusion as such.
No.
And also, I think
here he is explaining, while we are doing it, each portion is responsible for itself.
Yes.
Makes its own destiny, takes up its own life, and reaps what it has sown. Okay. The other 11 portions of the doer constitute the non-existing portions. These are, however, affected by the embodied portion during its life as well as after death of its body. The portion of the doer which is embodied may be, though it may not be, though it may not be, affected by those portions which are not embodied. It may be, it may not be impacted.
Impacted by the non-embodied portions.
Sometimes more than one portion of the doer is embodied during one life. This happens when embodied portion works to the advantage of the doer and its capacity for work is increased. Sometimes some of the embodied portion is withdrawn, as in old age, in insanity, or after disregarding conscience. In the portion of the doer which re-exists, sometimes feelings predominate and sometimes desire. So that means all conditions are possible. Various combinations.
So it means the same doer can enter into different souls to get its work done.
No. All these 12 belong to one soul.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes two portions may come together. Sometimes it may be a split personality. We don't know. Right. So depending upon how it has to progress, whatever plan it chooses, these things will get impacted. Let's go further.
In the thinker, which contacts the body, rightness and reason are equal. One does not dominate the other. The knower contacts the body in a small degree, enough for I-ness to give identity and for selfness to furnish light from the intelligence. In the successive existences, the re-existing portion of the doer takes up its own life and not the life of any of the other portions. The successive existence, the re-existence, the portion of the doer takes up its own life and not the life of any other portions. The 12 portions of the doer are one.
What does takes up meaning here?
No, let us complete the other paras, then we will get a complete picture.
All right.
The 12 portions of the doer are one and inseparable. Each is what makes the human being of the doer conscious as a human, distinct from the other human beings throughout the period of his earth life. A human is conscious that He is conscious, but he is not
He takes
conscious
up life
as
means, sir, this takes up life is basically taking an embodied role.
In the successive existences, that means
That
again
is the
and
next
again,
life.
Next
yeah,
life.
again and again rebirths,
Yeah.
the re-existing portion of the doer. Okay, so only a portion is carried on to the next life.
That's what he says, no? Out of very rarely more than one portion will come down for one.
Into the other one. Yes, yes.
There it may happen that there may be two portions which have come together.
Yes. So the doer takes up its own life and not the life of any of the other portions.
Correct. See, because you have got 12 units, you are broken down into 12 units.
True. More than one unit can come simultaneously.
But you will not take the life of the other.
Yeah,
That means
true.
one doer is responsible for itself.
Okay. So after some time, that
Portion
doer
of the
leaves.
doer, not
One
doer.
portion of the doer is
Mm-hmm.
responsible, and together it is one inseparable doer, actually.
Okay.
Basically, self-performance and company's performance all together will give you your increment.
It is like the appraisal system.
Yeah.
Group performance versus individual performance. A human is conscious that he is conscious, but he is not conscious that which is conscious. Which one is conscious, you don't know. Which of the 12 is conscious, you don't know. Okay, let us see what he means by that. He is not
conscious. He is only a portion of a doer. See, that is what he's saying. Yeah, we don't know. We are not conscious of. Only we are one portion of that doer out of 12. He is not conscious that he is only a portion of a doer, or that there are the other portions are of relations between himself and these non-embodied portions. He is conscious of his feeling, desiring, and thinking, and of his identity. He is conscious of I, but not as I, and he does not know the I. That I, he did not distinguish properly. He's not conscious of capital I, higher self, but as I, and he does not know the higher self as I. He does not know himself, nor does he know how he feels and desires, nor when he thinks. So haphazardly he thinks. He's not conscious of what he's thinking. The doer in the body says to itself, I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch, but it does nothing of that kind. It cannot see, it cannot hear, it cannot taste or smell or touch. The sense of sight looks through the eye, sees through the eye, and makes on the breath form a record of what it sees. The breath carries the impressions to the feeling of the doer. The side of the doer, the desired side of the doer passes the impressions on to the body mind to have translated and interpreted in terms of feeling the impression brought in by the sense of sight. So even though we think we see, but these eyes are not playing the important role. So back,
उनका काम है खाली देखना, उनका काम है खाली देखना. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, the basic other lot of things are happening.
Because they are conscious of its own function.
Correct.
The body parts, they are conscious of its own function.
So then the feeling of the doer, and then the feelings of the doer being all over the body identifies itself with the sense of sight, which does seeing and says to itself, I see. It is an error. So here this feeling, the feeling of the doer is that soul, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is only conscious of what is seen, heard, tasted, smelled, and contacted by the senses. It does not itself do any of these things. Correct. it feels identity, it feels identity with or as the senses because it is conscious of them and not conscious that it is not the senses and that it merely feels through them. Because correct, most of the humans we think, we through eyes we are seeing, we always think. It merges.
It is the same thing as don't identify yourself with your body, but identify yourself as an Atma.
Yeah, soul.
Atma cannot feel anything, but it wants to feel. That's where the desire comes in, as we have read before. So that desire is being satisfied
The same
through
thing
the
is being
body.
repeated here.
Yeah, I think so. It is repeated again. Yes.
Yeah, it is repeated. We have read it much before, early times of this book.
Yeah. Feeling will be merged with these senses and be conscious of itself as these senses until it decides to feel itself apart from them, and then thinking with its feeling mind, it will identify itself and establish itself as feeling and as being different from the senses. So unless you separate yourself from these senses, unless you think that you are not the body mind, then only your real feeling, your real desire, your real feeling starts. The doer in the body says, I feel, I think, I know. In this, it is nearly as much in error as when it believes that it sees or hears. It is true that the doer in the body feels and thinks after a fashion, but the real I does not feel and does not think. Correct. Because real I does not have any senses to feel it.
Correct.
Atma.
Through the instrument, it is working. The error lies in the conception of what that I is. The I of which the embodied portion of the doer is conscious is a delusion. The I of which the embodied portion of the doer is conscious is a delusion. It is a false I and is the basis of the actions of the human being. The false I is feeling and desire, the doer, and identifies itself moreover with the physical body and the senses. That's what, this is what, this we were discussing. There could be no conception by the feeling mind as an I if there were not actually an I present. There could be no conception by the feeling mind as an I if there were not actually an I present. This I is the I-ness of the triune self, but the doer in the body is not conscious as that. Being conscious of the presence of that I causes feeling to make the mistake that it is what it feels, whereas it only feels the I, but is not that I anymore than it is the four senses.
Correct. So basically, don't identify with the
senses,
organs or the body.
Yeah, more body mind. Yeah. Feeling tries to find the I in desire, and desire wants to get the I from feeling. This interaction of each trying to get the I in the other adds to the mystery of identity of what is true and what is the true I and what is the true self. So because of this feeling and desire getting attached to each other and to the objects, it is confused. Correct. What is the real I and what is not? By their thinking, feeling and desire can never be correct interpretation of this mystery because the feeling mind can solve the mystery of feeling and the desire mind can solve the mystery of desire, but these minds cannot be made to solve the mystery of the I and of selfness.
Correct. So selfness and the identity and this one that belongs to the triune self, and it has got nothing to do with the remaining. Because the doer inside the body is under the control of the body mind.
Yeah. That's why feeling and desire can be solved as, that mystery can be
Rightness also is giving the same treatment.
Yeah, rightness does not confirm but leaves them in doubt. The subject they are dealing with is a truth, a reality, but their solution is not right. The mistake about the I and the self of the human being is due to a delusion which is produced by thinking under the pressure of feeling and desire. So that is, if you think under the pressure of feeling and desire, you may not get the right answer for this solution, the real I.
So the doer in the body, the soul, is conscious.
So the doer in the conscious of it. So the doer in the body is conscious of itself as being something which it is not, and it is not conscious of what it actually is. See, that is right. Because as long as it is connected to the body, mind, and body, it is identifying wrongly. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Correct.
This delusion of the false I lies at the basis of the human being, which is partly personality and the partly doer. This false I, it is because of the partly because of the personality and the partly doer. The personality consists of the physical body with the four senses, all operated by the breath form. The personality is an inseparable combination during life. It is a mask, a costume. It does not work alone. In it is the embodied portion of the doer. The doer uses the personality, speaks through it, acts as its behest, and conceives that it is the personality.
So it thinks that it is the personality, who the doer in the body, because the body mind is controlling that fellow.
Correct. Even though soul level, the higher self. The combination of the personality and the embodied portion of the doer is the human being and usually identifies itself as the personality. So a combination of the personality and the embodied doer, that becomes our personality. Thereby, it shuts out the possibility of being advised by thinking that this is an error. Its feeling and desiring and thinking are done for nature. It is not conscious of true feeling and desire or of true thinking, which are done by the doer for itself apart from the nature. So we need to disidentify from the nature. The human does not identify himself with the atmospheres and the portions of the doer inside and outside of the physical body. The human does not identify himself with the atmospheres and the portions of the doer inside and outside of the physical body. The I, as which the human being is conscious, is false I.
Correct.
The personality whole does not re-exist. Part of it do. It is dissolved before another portion of the doer re-exists in a new personality. The human being does not re-exist as a whole. His fourfold body and transient units do not re-exist.
So, which ones do not re-exist?
Pardon?
Fourfold body.
The personality doesn't exist. Only parts of it does.
Yeah, personality as a whole doesn't exist. Okay.
Correct.
It dissolved before another portion of the doer re-exists in a new personality.
Correct. That means a personality is for a lifetime.
Because it goes changes, kada. It goes through some changes.
No, personality dies with the body.
Correct.
Yeah, it says the personality as a whole does not re-exist. Part of it do. It is dissolved before another portion of the doer. That means the same doer doesn't come. Another portion of the 12 doer re-exists.
That he has already explained. No, the doer is the same. The portion of the doer that is coming is 1/12 in rotation.
In rotation, yes. That means this time this 1 by 12 came, the next re-existence, another 1 by 12
Yeah.
will come.
The 2 by 12 will come, then 3 by 12 will come, and so on.
Another portion of the doer re-exists in a new personality. Okay.
Correct. The same
Another
personality
portion
will
of
not
the doer.
repeat. The new doer will take up a new personality.
No, that means karma philosophy is not existing in them.
No, it is because
Because
No,
a
no, sir.
portion
The
of
karma,
it is
no, no, sir. The
Sir,
karma will come because
see,
karma is the
there are
part of
two
the
things,
whole 12
sir.
doer.
One primary confusion you are getting into. Are these 1 by 12, 2 by 12, 3 by 12, 4 by 12? They are individual, yet they are only one.
One,
right, there is
yes.
something that is binding them, which we don't know what is
Exactly. No,
really
no.
binding.
That's why he says parts of it does. Right? Personality is not coming as a whole. The personality of 1 by 12, personality of 2 by 12, and so on. There are 12 personalities.
No, I agree. But why would another doer?
It is not another doer and a portion of another doer. Another
Right.
portion of the doer.
Sir, one portion of the doer takes the body form
Correct.
and
In the
stays
next
in the body.
re-existence is what? Is re-entry.
No, that means another body.
Another life.
Yeah, another life.
So that has to be a new body, no?
So at that
It
time,
may have
what you
some
are saying
portions
is,
of the personality which it is taking forward.
so a different doer will come into that body.
Correct.
No, no,
So
no.
each
Ramagaru's
Janma, there
problem.
is a different doer.
So
No,
Ramagaru's
not a
problem is
different
no.
doer, different portion of a doer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, different.
So
So
you
that means
look
there are
upon the
12
doer is
persons.
equal to 1 by 12 plus 2 by 12 plus 3 by 12
Yeah,
and
I
so
agree.
on, or
So
A
one of
plus
the
B plus C plus D up to 12.
so what? So
Okay,
there is a
A
chain.
has come, but he has also said that there are some portions of it which are composite parts,
Right? Two of them can
which
stay
are the
together.
units. The composite units, they will come back to create the new body.
Yeah,
That means
agree.
those portions of the personality which are forming part of the composite unit will come back in the new body,
We
in the new
repeat. Yeah.
mass. For example, sir, I have laid a footpath. Okay. Now a portion of it is cracked. So I remove that portion and I will reuse the existing portion or not.
True. Yeah.
Or if I'm building a wall, there are some portions which are broken down, but they can still be reused. I will powder it and reuse it, right?
True, but that is about the physical matter that we are talking about. But here it is
It
not
will become the
matter
physical. But what is the physical matter, sir? Is
doer
it
is
not
not a physical.
CKD? Is it not CKD? Fire, air, water, and earth crust?
Yeah, in those
Okay.
units.
Now, in those, a particular combination I am calling as composite units, which are prefabricated in a particular composition of fire, air, water, and earth crust.
Right. So those are the forms that we are talking about as a
That
12
means the breath form
portions
will
of
come
the
back
doer.
as it is. Breath form will bring those parts as it is in the
Right.
rebuild. Okay.
Those are
So now you read this.
okay.
Personality as a whole does not re-exist. Parts of it do. Personality ka parts. Here it is not doer. Okay. It is dissolved before another portion of the doer re-exists in a new personality. So where is the confusion? It's very clear. Okay. The human being does not re-exist as a whole. It is his fourfold body and transient units do not re-exist.
That means physical body.
Correct.
Physical body do not re-exist. Yes.
Correct.
After
Now
that,
read. That he is explaining now. In the earlier case, it's very clear.
The breath matter of the breath form returns to the matter of the four worlds from which it was drawn. So the breath matter goes to the breath
it has
form.
become CKD. That means हो गया. वो उसका ashes ले लिया, ashes ले जाके नदी में मिला दिया, पानी में मिल गया, नीचे जाके वो जम गया.
Correct.
Right?
It dissolves into the units.
Correct. It has
The
gone back to Mother Earth.
Breath matter of the breath form returns to the matter of the four worlds from which it was drawn. The matter of the body dissipated into the four states of the matter of the physical plane, and these transient units go back into the nature and continue to travel through the heavenly bodies and the bodies of the minerals, plants, animals, and humans. So
that is how they travel.
This travel happens through the minerals, plants, and animals and humans. Humans, in the sense we breathe through the breath, I think. The matter that made up of these beings may or may not be part of a future body of a human being, of the doer. So the same matter may not be coming back to the
See, if it has finished its job, it will remain as matter.
Yeah.
It
may or may not be part of a future body of human being of the doer. Between the existences, the portion of the doer with its breath form, which had been in the human being, recedes from the outer crust of the earth through the earth towards the inner crust, and in certain zones between these two crusts, the doer with its breath form has its hell and its heaven. What do they mean, outer crust towards inner and outer crust?
It is either moving towards a personality or it is moving towards the universe. That way you may call. This figure 5D. Once.
The cycle.
Yeah. Okay, now let us reread what he is saying here. Between the portion of the doer with its breath form, which has been in the human being, recedes from the outer crust of the earth through the earth towards the inner crust. So that means he has layered the atmosphere of the earth also is into various compositions, the inner crust and the outer crust. And in certain zones between these two crusts, the doer has its heaven and hell. Where is that? Yes, not.
Sir, understanding मुझे थोड़ा simple लग रहा है. See, whenever the life form comes to the planet, it has to travel through what it has said, from the outer crust to the earth crust to the inner crust, and in the crust of the earth, it has to do his own karmas, and that is how his hell and heaven are decided.
It's not the crust.
I mean, I think he's putting it in a technically manner. That is all. That's what I understand. Let us read again. I think we will get to that same.
Mishraji, Earth's crust begins from the surface of the Earth, not above not into the atmosphere.
The inner crust is the center of the earth and outer portion of the earth.
No, sir,
Before
no,
it
sir,
goes into the atmosphere.
no, sir. Center of the Earth is core. Above that, there is a mantle. Above that, our inner crust and outer crust.
That's
Crust
what I mean. So it's the various layers of the earth, basically.
Right. He's talking about the layers of the earth. He's talking only about the upper portion which has been solidified and cooled enough for human beings to exist.
No, let
But
us
there
read this. Let us read this. We will get that picture.
Yeah.
During his
Whatever
journey,
Yes, so
during
the
his
main
journey,
catch of the word is between re-existences. That means from a leftover body to the rebirth again.
yeah,
That is the situation what he's covering in this para.
Hey, is he interpreting Patal Lok and the Dev
सर
Lok
हम ऐसे
as the
मानते
two
हैं
entities?
सर हम ऐसे मान रहे हैं. That
Yeah.
means what is saying that the consequence of your karma is decided based on the re-existence and the doer's activity through the breath form.
So he's not talking about karma at all here.
Sir, sir, if you try to look into this, between re-existence, what will happen to the doer? It will collate the data.
No. See, between the re-existence, what is happening to him is this. He is going through all these stages of purification.
Exactly. And in this stage also, if you look at the fourth stage, judgment, separation, desire section, धीरे धीरे अपने वो चीजों को क्लियर करते हुए जा रहा है. That means जो डूअर यहां से अपना काम करके वापस गया, उसका लेखा जोखा, that means his works are being checked. Performance कैसे किया, how is going to better be more conscious. उसका जो judgment होता है through this circle ही होता है. That's what we have read. फिर वो क्लीन होके आराम से सोता है. By the time it enter into another physical form.
ठीक है, वो let us assume that, then we will verify it with what we are reading.
yeah, okay. During
We
his
will take
journey,
it that way. It makes sense what you are saying.
correct. During his journey, the human being is divested of his carnal desires, which makes his hell until they have burned themselves off.
Exactly.
And his later,
that's what he says. That's what
which
divested of his carnal desires, which makes his hell.
Yeah.
This is purely the karma.
Yeah, until they have burned off. Yeah, correct.
Okay, I agree.
Correct. And it is later enveloped in a dress of his nobler desires, which means the separation is occurring. See,
in that circle also we have seen different layers of separations happens.
Correct.
So that is why he said it is later enveloped in a dress of his nobler desires, which makes his heaven. So before it was hell with all the carnal desires. Between the outer and the inner surfaces of the earth's crust, there are passages and chambers like cavities in a sponge. In these, each doer portion has its own experiences, which are the development of its thoughts during the past life. No new thinking takes place. Each concentrates on and repeats automatically the thinking done in life, and this conjures up events of which it is their conscious. So this is the cycle. In the cycle, what is happening, he's explaining. The run of human beings are not developed beyond feeling and desire. Their thinking concerns these, and they identify themselves with them. Feeling and desire have now to do with surfaces only. Therefore, the doer of the average human does not go much beyond the outer earth crust.
Exactly, that's what I said. No, it is between the earth crust, outer layer and the inner layer. उसको उसने
As long
टेक्निकली
as
हेवी वर्ड्स डाला है, दैट्स ऑल.
correct, as long as they have these feeling and desires attached, they bind to that outer earth crust. After death, the doers are in states, but for a short time. They are also in what would be to sensuous perception localities on surfaces in the earth crust.
Hmm.
In life, in life, they knew of but one dimension surfaces, and to these they are limited after death. In life, they only one dimension and surfaces, and to these they are limited after death. What does it mean? Limited after death? I don't know.
हम लोग अभी 3 डायमेंशनल है ना, हम लोग अभी 3 डायमेंशन में है, so we only know one dimension. When we increase our consciousness, we will go into different dimensions. But in this human life, if you don't go into increase your consciousness, you will limit it into one dimension.
Correct.
They are limited after death. The exceptional human beings whose lives were not dominated by the lower feelings and desires, they go beyond these surfaces into the inner sphere. That is, he calls it heaven.
See, between these two lines, he is talking about the evolution of the consciousness or the progression. Okay, he is talking about the progression very clearly. In life,
in life, the doer in the body conceives of itself as an entity, the human being. Okay, and this entity does not know itself any better after death than it did while it acted through the personality in life. So it is going through same. The false identity does not change, though the desires and the thoughts change as the human goes through his hell and his heaven after death. The false identity, so he is saying the false identity does not change. The desires and thoughts, they go through some change because of the cleaning process.
correct.
The portion of the doer that was embodied does not recognize its relation to the triune self as a whole because it did not know it during life.
Correct.
So is he talking about after death? Because he says during life.
See, what is happening during the life? In life, the doer in the body conceives itself as an entity, the human being. Okay. And this entity does not know itself any better after death than it did while it acted through the personality in life.
Because it did not change in the previous life, it is carrying the same thing.
The false identity does not change, though the desires and the thoughts change as the human goes through his hell and his heaven after death. Hell is what? The physical earth. Okay. In death, he goes through heaven. That is those 12 cycles. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
The portion of the doer that was embodied does not recognize its relation to the triune self as a whole because it did not know it during life. That means he was under the complete control of his desires.
Yeah.
He has not gone beyond his desires.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the portion of the doer that was embodied does not require. Okay, this is done. The journeys from the outer crust towards the inner are made by that which carries with it the identity it had in life. Inner crust is the higher dimensions. Outer crust is the physical dimension.
Mm.
Okay. After the end of the eternity of happiness in heaven, the false I, as the human being disappears, when the portion that was embodied is gradually withdrawn from the breath form into its psychic atmosphere. That means physical body, say he has now moved into the next level. There it rests until each of the other doer portions has re-existed in its turn, and then it is drawn again for an embodiment into the new human being. That means what? He is going to be in the astral plane only. Yukteswar Giri talks about a number of soul components existing in the astral plane.
Yeah. Levels. Each astral plane has levels.
Correct.
So basically, the way I understood, out of the 12 portions of the doer, each one takes turns come to earth.
It will come back up to the psychic plane and wait there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the
And
next
once
one will take a body and come. Then it will come. Then it will come. Then it will come.
So once all the 12 portions are finished of the cycle, so then what happens?
Then he's saying at the end of the, right? The portions of the doer that were not embodied are, however, affected in life and after death by the portion that was embodied.
Okay.
Okay. In life, there was a connection in the kidneys and the adrenals between the doer portion and the thinker and knower, which had contact through the breath and with the heart and lungs and with the pituitary and pineal bodies.
Yeah, again, it's a repetition. Yeah.
Okay. So what is he saying? In this journey, after the end of eternity of happiness in the heaven, that means it will go. What is it doing? It is going through this after death, judgment and separation from the gross desires and all that. It will come and rest. Okay, this is the rest, right? Composite happiness section, peaceful rest section. Then it will again restart the journey.
Yeah.
Here also, in the composite happiness section, the other doers also will come and combine here.
Correct.
Then the peaceful rest sections will start, and then the thought of life will start. Then which doer will come, then the doers, which portion will come to life will get decided.
Correct. That's what he is saying.
Ramagaru, which portion of the doer will come to life is then decided.
Correct.
Yeah.
After the completion?
So the completion comes only after 12 lives. If at all it comes. Because some of those things are again affected. That's what he says.
Yes.
Affected life
Yes. That is the reason the entire doer as a triumph self cannot evolve to the next level of intelligence.
Correct. The portions of the doer that were not embodied are, however, affected in life and after death by the portion that was. In life, there was a connection in the kidneys and adrenals between the doer portion and the thinker portion and the knower portion, which had contact through the breath with the heart and lungs. मतलब ये embodied portion तो kidneys में है, knower portion heart में है, thinker portion pituitary और pineal gland में है.
Correct.
Okay. In life, currents in the atmosphere flowed to and from the parts outside the body through the embodied portion. These currents were kept up by 3 breaths of the triune self, flowing through the fourfold breath. Okay? There was a strengthening or a weakening or a calming or a disturbing and a darkening or enlightening of the non-embodied portions. After death, this ceases, then reaction comes. क्या हो रहा है? The results produced upon the non-embodied portions are then thrown back upon the portion that was in the personality and produce in it the automatic feeling and thinking that makes the hell and heaven for the false eye. These states of suffering and of happiness are intensified because of the intermingling and alternation of pain and pleasure which comes in life are absent. ये नहीं घुस रहा है अभी, कंसंट्रेशन ज्यादा हो गया,
अभी बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ लिया सर, 10:30 हो गया ना, इसीलिए घुसता नहीं। 10:42 हो गया।
I think we will start
सर
from
यहाँ से शुरू करेंगे। हाँ,
I think let us stop it. Yeah.
यहाँ से कल, that is next week, we will do next Saturday.
Right.
You can start recording.
मतलब जो डूअर आ रहा है उस पे the portion of a doer which comes to as a human form, the entire what do you say, the enlightenment or the evolving thing depend on the portion of the doer which comes to the earth.
नहीं, यहाँ पे एक और चीज भी करना पड़ेगा. We need to read the 7 bodies जो लिखा है ना बीटर का, 7 bodies, 7 principles, वो एक बार फिर से पढ़ के इसको पढ़ेंगे तो ठीक से समझ में आएगा. देखता हूँ कल तक अगर मेरे को हुआ तो ये कल के क्लास में मैं वहां पे बोल दूंगा ये. देखता हूँ.
Yeah, I think more of the confusion is coming because of the one portion of the 12 doers only enters, and second time when the rebirth occurs, it is another portion of the doer that enters. That's where more of a confusion is coming basically, because the karma is carried with the first portion. For that portion, it is identified, stamped, marked, sealed, all those things he said in
But
there.
the second portion will have an overlapping impact, no? Because
he will bring the prarabdha karma along with him.
He will bring that karma.
Yeah, a portion of it, not all of it. That's what it is said. A portion of that.
Portion is the soul, but in the lesson, it may be part of the lesson itself.
And that comes for another body, another life form, which again goes back. And
Correct.
so all the 12 are meeting and trying to discuss, okay, who goes next?
Correct.
Or who needs...
सर इसीलिए PLR होता है.
हाँ.
Because the same portion of the doer repeatedly doesn't come to the human form is where the PLR is working to understand what this doer was in the previous lives as a part of the other portion of the doer.
Because that disturbance is there, exactly.
Yeah.
Because जो सब कुछ भूल के fresh आता है ना.
I think end of the day, it looks like all of us are becoming Parsiva.
Or totally mad.
No, we are becoming Parsival. See, we are bringing in PLR and all. He has not stated PLR anywhere.
Yeah.
That's why in PLR, it is not a progression of a sequence. Sometimes it goes, thousands of years,
You don't know which portion of the 12 you have to bring.
Correct. Yeah.
Suddenly, that there is so much change in time.
Yeah. Perfect. I think we'll stop here and restart this.
Yeah.
Right, sir, right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thank you
Right
all,
then,
sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.